In this video, we will dive into the rise and fall of company, WeWork.
Okay, let's set the scene. 2019, a company riding high, valued at an absolutely staggering $47 billion.
Almost unbelievable, right?
Exactly. That valuation just collapses down to less than $8 billion.
And the founder.
We're talking about WeWork, a company that, promised nothing less than to elevate the world's consciousness. And yet it became one of the biggest, most talked about startup scandals ever.
So today we're doing a deep dive. How did Adam Neumann build this massive empire? And maybe more importantly, what caused it to crumble so spectacularly?
It's a really fascinating story. And like you said, it's definitely more than just a typical business failure.
Right.
It's a really potent cautionary tale, I think. It shows what happens when you have this immense vision, maybe unchecked ambition, crashing headlong into financial reality. And for you listening, understanding the story, it's actually crucial for getting a grip on modern startup culture, and the whole investment landscape. Absolutely. So let's unpack the beginning, the dream. It starts back in 2010.
Right.
Adam Neumann and Miguel McKelvey.
That's right.
They launched WeWork. On the surface, simple enough, shared workspaces.
No, not at all. He was selling something much bigger.
He was selling a whole concept, community, culture.
Yeah, that consciousness angle was key.
Aspirational. And this abstract vision, it really hooked early investors. Money poured in. By 2015, they were expanding globally at incredible speed. And the ambition didn't stop at offices. There was WeLive for apartments, WeGrow for schools.
They were even talking about building whole cities at one point. It was massive in scope.
Incredible.
Yeah, and that scope, that grand vision, that's what fueled the hype. You look at SoftBank putting in, over $10 billion?
Million.
That wasn't just an investment in office space. They genuinely thought WeWork was, the next Apple or Google. A really powerful story about changing the world. And in the tech world, sometimes that narrative seems to matter more than the actual numbers, at least for a while. It attracts huge capital, even if the fundamentals look questionable.
Okay, so the story is powerful, the money's flowing in, but underneath, things were maybe not quite so polished. Adam Neumann's leadership style. Unique. Eccentric.
Atypical is a polite way to put it. Yes, very eccentric.
Declaring he'd be the world's first trillionaire. Claiming he could solve world peace.
Yeah.
And then the incident with the word we, he trademarked it, the actual word we, and then made his own company, WeWork, pay him nearly $6 million just to use it.
$6 million.
Should investors have seen that as a massive red flag?
Looking back, absolutely. And it wasn't just one thing. It felt like part of a pattern.
Right.
You hear about the luxury homes, the private jets, and really bizarre stuff like banning meat for all employees.
Well,
exactly. Which speaks volumes. And internally, the culture reflected this. It sounds like chaos. Stories of wild parties, these odd spiritual retreats, sudden layoffs.
how does that work?
Well, that's the power of private markets and a compelling narrative, isn't it? As long as the money keeps coming in and the valuation keeps going up on paper, the internal reality can stay hidden. There's this huge disconnect possible between what's happening inside and what investors believe from the outside.
Until the curtains have to be pulled back.
Precisely.
Which brings us to 2019, the IPO filing. The moment they decided to go public.
A moment of truth.
Because suddenly, everything had to be laid bare for public scrutiny.
And those financials?
Not at all. The S-1 filing, that document, it showed the company was just hemorrhaging money. Billions every year.
Billions, with costs totally out of control.
And no clear path to actually making a profit in sight. The basic model, rent space, fix it up, sublet for more.
The execution was just fundamentally flawed financially. The numbers just didn't add up. That dream suddenly looked like a very expensive nightmare on paper.
So the IPO filing doesn't just show the bad numbers.
No, it revealed much more. All those conflicts of interest involving Neumann, the, frankly, bizarre financial dealings, and the sheer amount of control he personally had over the company.
Well, there's total control, right?
Much.
And said, no, thank you.
Decisively rejected it. The IPO had to be pulled. It was dramatic.
And the pressure on Neumann became immense.
Leading directly to his forced, the transparency required for public offering just demolished a narrative that has sustained billions in private investment for years.
Just like that.
Poof, gone.
Neumann is out. What happens next?
Well, SoftBank, as the biggest investor with the most to lose, had to step in. a massive bailout, basically taking control of the company.
And the valuation, that $47 billion figure.
Slashed down to around $8 billion almost overnight.
47 down to 8, that's staggering.
And the contrast is just brutal. You had thousands of employees losing their jobs, their stock options suddenly worthless.
Well, Adam Neumann walks away with
An exit package reportedly worth $1.7 billion.
$1.7 billion.
Yes.
Meanwhile, WeWork itself.
It tried. They restructured, cut costs.
Yeah.
But the fundamental problems, the leases, the brand damage, it was too much.
Leading ultimately to
Bankruptcy. Filed in 2023.
wow. From Silicon Valley darling to cautionary tale.
The quintessential cautionary tale, really. It became the symbol for hype over substance. And it forces you to ask, how did that gap between the perception, that $47 billion idea, and the reality get so enormous?
It wasn't the product itself, was it? People used them.
No, the core idea isn't inherently flawed. It
Yeah.
was, as you said earlier, this toxic mix. Unchecked ambition from leadership.
Reckless spending.
Reckless leadership. And a tech investment culture that got completely hooked on finding the next unicorn, that billion-dollar startup.
Regardless of the fundamentals.
At its core, let's be honest, it was never really a tech company.
It was a real estate company.
Exactly. A real estate company with cool branding and, yes, free beer. But still, real estate. And somehow that reality got lost in the shuffle for a very long time, fooling some very smart people.
So the lessons seem pretty clear,
Yeah.
but have they actually been learned?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Has the industry, have investors really internalized what went wrong here? Or is the allure of the next big narrative, the next charismatic founder, just too strong? Are we potentially setting ourselves up for similar situations down the road?
It makes you wonder.
It really does. And maybe that's the key question for you listening right now. How do we collectively get better at telling the difference between genuine innovation and just really convincing hype?
And what's the responsibility of investors, of leaders, to push for sustainable businesses?
Exactly. A story with consequences that are still playing out.